Oh boy, this is gonna be an interesting video. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be my Masters of the Universe Revelation review. This is a 5-episode series that just premiered on Netflix very recently, and it's a hot topic of controversy online right now. You've got a ton of people that hate it, you've got some people that like it, the Rotten Tomatoes score is completely divided, and the He-Man superfans absolutely hate this series. Now, I just want to start the review by saying I was never really like the biggest He-Man fan of all time. I grew up watching some of the episodes with my dad, who's actually a big He-Man fan, and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't watch like a ton of episodes, and I was never really, super deep into the whole lore of Masters of the Universe and He-Man, but I do really enjoy it, and I have a bit of knowledge about the characters from the old cartoons, so I was really excited to watch this series on Netflix, especially because the trailers looked really good, and the animation looked fantastic. But anyways, my thoughts about the show was that the animation was the best part about it. It was so crisp, it was so vibrant, it looked really good. The action scenes in the show were great as well. The story wasn't the greatest. I wouldn't say it's like a very strong story. You can clearly tell what they were trying to do, which was make Teela this new character who's probably going to be a champion in the next season, or I guess they're calling it part 2. So they were definitely going for very big changes with this show, and I think that's where they went wrong. They could have easily just announced that they were going a different route. They were going to make a show all about Teela, but they didn't. What they said was that this was going to be Masters of the Universe. It was going to focus heavily on He-Man, and I think that's what attracted a lot of the old fans of the shows towards watching this show, and I think that's why everyone was so disappointed. They literally killed He-Man twice. Like, what kind of show gets like the main character and just kills him 2 times, not once, twice, and doesn't expect the fans to be upset at that? Like, I just don't know what they were thinking. It was definitely a little bit of a bait and switch, because if you look at all of the trailers that are floating around online for this series, it's got He-Man in the thumbnail, and the majority of the trailer focuses on He-Man, because they definitely know that the majority of people that want to watch this show are coming for He-Man, and I don't think the show would do good if they just said it was going to be a Teela show right off the bat, because it's been decades since He-Man has had an animated series, so you would think you would make a show with the most popular character. It just makes sense. But anyways, they chose to focus on Teela, which I thought would have been fine, but they should have been honest with the marketing. They should have said that this is going to be a Teela show, and that's why people are so mad. Like, Clownfish TV, before the show even came out, had a report saying that the show was going to focus on Teela and that He-Man wasn't going to have a big presence, and then Kevin Smith, who was working on the show, just flat out denied that. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about, that's not true, this is a He-Man show. So on top of the whole bait and switch and everything, you have Kevin Smith who lied to the fans. Like, if he just said, you know what, yes, we are going in a different direction, we're making this about Teela, myself and a lot of other fans would have been fine with that, because we were going in with the right expectations if they said that. But they didn't say that, they just ignored that and just flat out denied it, which I don't know how they weren't expecting, major backlash when the show premiered, because that's exactly what happened. Everyone was like, okay, he said it's not going to be about Teela, he said it's going to be about He-Man, and then it just, it wasn't, that's for sure. It just blows my mind that they would lie to the fan base about one of the major characters in Masters of the Universe and expect fans to be okay with that. Like, I don't know, it was just a really weird situation. But anyways, the show is about Teela, and I gotta say, she was alright. She just didn't really show a lot of, like, hero characteristics, in my opinion. Like, basically, it just looked like the show wanted to focus on her and make her a champion in the future. But in my opinion, she didn't really do anything that really earned that title. Like, yes, she is a badass, she's a warrior, but like, she didn't really do any hero specific stuff, and she gets really angry for whatever reason. Like, she's just a really bitter person. Like, Prince Adam dies and she's like, you know what, I don't care about that, you guys lied to me, that's what I'm gonna focus on. It was just a really weird situation. Like, she's talking to Prince Adam's mom and dad, the king and the queen. Their son has literally just died, and she's like, you know what, you guys are all a bunch of liars, I don't like any of you guys, I'm leaving. And I was like, what the heck? Like, this guy just died and that's what you're focused on? I don't know, personally for me, Teela didn't really have hero characteristics, and I think she should have had a lot more scenes in the series proving that she's worthy of being a champion, because they are definitely going in that direction. Overall though, I gotta say this series was alright. It wasn't anything super special, it wasn't like my favorite animated series of all time. I really just think the animation carried the show, because if the animation didn't look as good, I think I would have tuned out probably around episode 3. Like, they literally just took the two biggest elements of Masters of the Universe, which is Skeletor and He-Man, and just sidelined them for the entire series. And it was just really, really weird to do that, because those are your big hitters. Those are what people are wanting to watch. And you just give a tiny little bit of them at the beginning and just remove them completely from the show, and then just reintroduce them at the last possible second in the finale. I don't know, it just didn't seem like the right move in my opinion. Personally, what I think they should have done was just made this series all about He-Man and Teela. You could just have them as like a partnership, you know, fighting bad guys. You could even do the He-Man death still, just maybe in like the last episode, hinting towards that second season or part 2. I think that would have been awesome if it was just like Teela and He-Man and Andra and all the other characters teaming up to fight the villains, and then at the last possible second, that's when Skeletor and He-Man die, and then part 2 is about bringing them both back. I think that would have been awesome, and I think people would have enjoyed that a lot more, versus just kill off those characters right at the beginning in episode 1. But yeah, I gotta say, I was a little bit disappointed for sure with this series, because like I said, I wasn't the biggest He-Man fan ever, but when I did watch Masters of the Universe, He-Man was always the character that I liked the most, and that's what I was anticipating to see after watching those trailers and seeing what Kevin Smith had to say. And then when I watched the show, I knew right away that that was not going to be the case, that's for sure. So I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed, and I really hope that He-Man comes back for part 2, because if they actually kill him, I think the whole series is going to be killed too. Like, I honestly don't think it's going to survive another season or part or whatever they're gonna call it if they just, you know, remove the big characters. Just have Teela be a champion alongside He-Man or something, I don't know. Maybe even make a spin-off with Teela. I think that would have worked better, versus after all of these years, bring back the show and then just remove the big character and replace it with Teela. Very, very interesting choices, that's for sure. But like I said, it's not the worst show ever. I definitely had moments that I enjoyed, but this show could have and should have been a lot better than it was. And for the diehard He-Man fans, I gotta say, I feel bad, because I just don't know what they were thinking. Like, you know, we're trying to attract all of these fans from this IP, but we're gonna change a lot of the things that they enjoyed from the original series and expect them to like all of these changes. I don't know what they were thinking. I'm really hoping for part 2 that they listen to the audience feedback and change some things up. Feedback is the best possible thing that studios can listen to, because the fans are the ones that want to watch this thing. Those are the people that are going to be recommending the show to people that wouldn't normally watch this type of thing. So you gotta satisfy those people first, and then you're going to have a hit show. So I'm really hoping that they listen to the feedback and improve on part 2. Bring He-Man back and make it like an ensemble thing, almost like the Avengers but Masters of the Universe. I just think they made way too many changes for the first series in over a decade. And to wrap things up, I'm going to give this series a B-. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't very good, but I am hoping that for part 2 they listen to what people say and make a much better show, and just be honest about what you're doing. Don't tell people it's going to be a He-Man show and then just make it all about Teela, because we can see what that does. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below about Masters of the Universe Revelation. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? And are you excited for a part 2? Also, let me know if you guys think He-Man is actually dead, because I definitely don't think he is. I think he's somehow going to survive that whole thing and possibly end up in the afterlife again and be like the first person to ever do that. At least I'm really hoping so, because I need He-Man. Like, all of the scenes with He-Man were so awesome. But anyways, that's it for the review, guys. Thank you for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.